Hi, I am here to express my undying love and devotion to you. How am I doing that? I'm doing that by giving you the makeup tutorial that you have asked for. And although I at first felt and explained to you that that's never going to happen because, well, first I was like, oh, there's so many good makeup artists, you don't need me, which I also thought. But when we got down to it, I explained that in order to do a makeup tutorial, you have to start without your makeup on the internet. No thanks. I started thinking about it, and of course, I thought, this is what the sexy people want. Not all of them, but some of them, enough of them. And if it's just one, that's enough for me. And who cares? So go on the internet without makeup. Big deal. Who are you? Grace Kelly? No. This is a tutorial of my go to look, like my basics. Now, my basics are not everyone's basics. If you're a beginner or somebody who doesn't like, oh, just kind of wants to keep it a little more basic, I get it. I went with exactly what I do, like as far as the core program, if you will. Now, because this is the first video on this channel, I'm limited in time, which I didn't know at first. Party starting early this week, Tuesday. Tuesday. I hope I don't get a copyright strike for that. Okay, so it's limited. It was limited in time, but I put on my makeup the way my go-to look, as I said, and I'm going to voice it over and explain what I'm doing. Any questions you have, put them in the comments. This is just the first installment of this discussion if you want to have a further discussion. If not, I'll move on to something else. Teach you more of my knowledge. And although at first I thought I really don't have much to say. I mean, I do my makeup every day, it's not a big deal, da da da. Then I started thinking about it and I realized, I have a lot to say. Of course I have a lot to say. I mean, I prioritize the very important things in life. So, of course, I can talk for an hour about bronzer alone. I have linked products that I'm using. Either they are the exact products I'm using or comparable, if not better. If for some reason what I'm using is not available anymore, whatever. Most of them are. I have kept it inexpensive. And when I say inexpensive, I mean inexpensive, but without compromising quality. There are one or two products that are not inexpensive. For example, concealer. I use a more expensive concealer. I've also provided one that's less expensive, but still very, very good. Actually, it's just as good, I think, but I like the applicator on the other one better. And I need industrial strength concealer because I have very dark under eye rings. That said, I usually don't wear foundation. So, for example, if I use foundation, I will use the foundation under my eyes, and then that's it. I have a special a way I apply it that covers under my eyes, and you know, we can get into all of that if you want to. If after this you're like, we get it, it's enough. That's fine too. I think that's it. I hope you enjoy it. Bye.
This is serious business.
We start with bronzer. This is Wet n Wild and Oaks on You. It is the best one I know of and also the least expensive. Put it wherever the sun naturally hits your face. Do not put it, however, in the apples of your cheeks. Do not put it in the hollow of your cheeks. Put it on your cheekbone and then we blend. You can use your fingers, a sponge, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm using a flat, dense brush. Sometimes I follow this up with powder. Not always. Not this time. We can talk about finding the right shade and all that at some point. Now I'm starting with the eyelids. First, concealer, which I buff out with a brush that I will link. I have a similar one. It's not exactly the one. This is by Eco Tools, and I actually got this at CVS or something. Inexpensive, excellent. This is a very good brush to have. And after you blend the concealer in, you start with your eyeshadow. This eyeshadow is actually one called Visor, which is very expensive. If I can find the link, I will place it, but it's not necessary. I just wanted to choose these colors. I was actually going to use a Wet n Wild, but the colors were a little bit too reddish, so I wanted to do something more basic. Start by applying a base color, which is almost the color, almost like a face powder color. And then with a bigger, fluffier brush, the lightest basic brown, neutral. And then we take a slightly more precise brush with the a darker shade just in the corners, upward, always upward. And this is really minimal. You just buff it out. Don't go too deep within the inner corners of the eye. Now I put a pearl color, a slightly shimmery color just in the center of the eyelid. Not necessary, just something I do. This is the only place, generally speaking, that I use a metallic or shimmery eyeshadow color. I don't like the look, generally speaking. Now, for me, I take a color like this as kind of russet because I like a really warm color just to kind of. My face really absorbs color, so there are certain things I do that might just sit on top of other people's faces, if you have the kind of face that does not absorb color. Now, brows. And I'm begging you, if you don't think about your brows, start thinking about them. They may be perfect the way they are. I'm just saying consider them when you're thinking about your face. I draw a line either with a gel, which is linked, or a pencil or a powder with a thin brush that I just showed. And I draw the bottom line and then I just really brush it up from there. I use usually that product, and pull it through the lash, the brow. I use very dark because my eyebrows are very dark, and my eyebrows are very dark because my hair is naturally very dark. It's important to know what really suits you. In my case, light eyebrows. I need the darkness to bolster my face because I'm naturally dark, so it looks weird when my eyebrows are too light. So again, I'm just lining the bottom, the shape. And then pulling the color through. I linked this exact brush. This is by Anastasia. This is one of the few more expensive products. I think it's about $18, this brush. But there's also a really good, inexpensive brush set that I think has something like this in it. Now the trick for the eyeliner. Take a nude colored pencil, or you can use a very thin brush with a concealer on it, and just flick up from where the upper lash and the lower lash separate. And this acts as a guide for your liner. I use black, sometimes I use dark brown. Dark brown is a good choice if you're not really trying to make a statement. And then you can always add more, but you can't, it's not as easy to take away. So you just do a small kind of following that guide line. The outer corners, and then I do the inner corners. You can also line the inner lid, upper lid, or lower if you want to. I usually wait until the eye is done with the lashes and mascara and everything to see if that's necessary. It usually is not, I find. Now the concealer. Now, as I said, there's the less expensive one. I have very dark rings under my eyes. Come from a long line of various ethnicities that are quite swarthy. My go-to plan of attack here is I put it on way more than I think I need, because that's usually how much I need. I buff it out with the same brush I used in the concealer on the upper lid, just on the outer perimeter of it, and down through my cheeks and nose a little bit. Just the edges, so that I don't have any sharp, discernible edges there. And then I wait. I wait for the rest to dry. I mean, not dry, but dry a little bit. Dry down a little.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Then I take a sponge, either a beauty blender, which has been moistened, or they have a few other very good sponges that do not need to be moistened, which is a lot easier, and they work very well. And I, again, blot this or blend it less than I think I need to, and then I leave it alone. Takes great restraint. Now I do the lower line, and I do it with the medium brown shadow, and a flat, little bit fluffy brush just to give a soft line, just to define the lower eyelids a little bit. Because a little blush never killed anyone. I like bright blush because, again, my face absorbs color. This is by Morphe. It's a cream blush, a powder blush, and a highlighter. It's not my go-to highlighter, but it's very good. And then I just apply this as you're seeing. This is my highlighter. I get this on Amazon. It is my go-to. It's kind of what they call like a bouncy gel. It's like a gel powder kind of thing. I love it. It comes in other shades. You'll see them if you're interested in it. Now lashes. So I use these lash clusters. They are pre-glued, so they are self-adherent, and they go under the lash. In my opinion, this is really the best, if not the only way, to wear false lashes. You can, of course, forego the false lashes, but once I got used to them, that was it. And they apply like so. Sometimes I curl my lashes first, sometimes I don't. I just put 3, sometimes 4 of them on my upper lash. Also, whatever they use as glue on these lashes is very gentle, which is a plus. Just showing you the process. These extra inner corner ones I sometimes skip, depending on the lash and my mood. This is the mascara I've been using lately. It is a tubing mascara by Maybelline. I think it's pretty good. I like a tubing mascara because it does not, once it dries, it doesn't budge, but it comes right off with soap and water, which is amazing. I have a few mascaras that I like, and if you don't wear the false lashes, my advice is just amazing that I just. But this was a good opportunity because what you do if something like this happens, you get mascara on your nose or whatever, wait. It will come right off if you let it dry. Don't go in there with a Q-tip and start smearing it all around. So if you don't wear the false lashes, which are not for everyone, apply mascara until you are running late. That is my advice to you. Upper and lower lashes. Focusing on upper. Then blink a few times and then lower because it will transfer. And there we go. Put a little bit of loose powder on if you want. And that's it. There you go. Ready to embark on a day of complaining. After this, do not think about it again. And don't touch your face. Thank you for watching. See you soon.